touched Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump has been calling for this and that people heeded his call.
A call denouncing political violence fails in Metro Council.
It was disgusting and it was embarrassing.
Why it never reached the floor.
Everyone leave the gallery.
Downtown protests just the beginning. The continued threats local business owners say they're getting from self-proclaimed white supremacists. The mother of a deaf child says her son's school doesn't have his best interest at heart. Why the school is now accused of falsifying records to show improvement. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
It touched Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump has been calling for this and that people heeded his call.
New tonight, a measure to call for unity after the assassination attempt of former President Trump struck down before reaching the floor of the Metro Council. One member even saying the former president brought this on himself with his own messaging. Fox 17 News, Karen Aguilar joining us live from the Metro Courthouse with this heated debate. Karen.
Megan, the resolution that was not heard last night at the Metro Council meeting condemned the attempted assassination of the former president, aimed to honor the victims and condemn political violence. Two council members objected to that resolution.
Take a look at what happened.
Republicans and Democrats condemning Saturday's assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. But that messaging did not make it to the Metro Council floor.
It touched Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump has been calling for this and that people heeded his call.
Council member Ginny Welsh.
Ms. Vo, are you objecting?
Along with the Councilwoman Terry Vo, objecting to this resolution by Councilwoman Courtney Johnston that includes condemning the attack on the former president and honoring the victims.
What is your reaction to the fact that they objected to this?
It was disgusting and it was embarrassing.
This was not calling for an end to political violence. This was somehow to make Trump somehow special.
But it wasn't just about Mr. Trump.
A resolution that also includes victims. It includes condemning political violence. Do you still feel that it was right to do this?
Yes, I do. I absolutely stand by what I did.
Do you condemn what happened to the former president on Saturday?
Yes.
Do you also think that it's important to honor the victims of the attack?
Oh, yes.
So you condemn what happened to former President Donald Trump. You think we should honor the victims of the attack. There was a mention about condemning all political violence.
The resolution mentioned, like you just said, it mentioned, all political violence, but I felt that could be improved upon so that we could have a stronger resolution.
Apparently, it's okay to denounce hate unless it's against someone that they hate.
The resolution was turned in late, but the rules say that it can't be heard unless members suspend the rules. Well, the two councilwomen you just heard from, Terry Vo, and also you heard from Ginny Welsh, they objected to that. But you can expect to hear this resolution potentially at the next Metro Council meeting. Reporting live here in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. While Courtney Johnson is a member of the Metro Council, she is running against Congressman Andy Ogles in the GOP primary.
Everyone leave the gallery.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a self-proclaimed white supremacist group continuing to make its presence known in downtown Nashville. Safety remains a top concern, especially after two arrests during last weekend's demonstration. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the Metro Courthouse after pressing city leaders on these growing concerns. Caitlin.
Megan, we spoke with Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents a downtown district where a lot of these demonstrations have been occurring. He says that this hate group does not represent Nashville. Coupin says that he does support free speech, but he says anything outside the realm of free speech will not be tolerated here in Music City.
But the only genocide you can't question is the Holocaust?
Tensions rising after a self-proclaimed white supremacist group descends on downtown Nashville.
Why aren't you telling them to sit?
Metro police say neo-Nazi protesters were demonstrating on 3rd Avenue last weekend when 29-year-old Ryan Scott McCann of Ontario, Canada, hit Johnny Cash's bar employee Diego Buck in the face and the ribs with a Nazi flag. McCann is charged with aggravated assault and disorderly conduct, and Buck was arrested on misdemeanor charges for disorderly conduct and resisting police. The DA's office confirmed Wednesday McCann's bond went from $80,000 to $51,000. Metro leaders like Jacob Coupin are upset, saying this is hurting Music City's community and image.
This is not our city. This is not the love and care that we have for each other and that we regularly see. And my hope is we can stamp out what's going on right now and not see it come back again.
Coupin says there is no place for harassment here.
There is not a right to intimidate people. There's not a right to make people feel scared for their life and their safety. And I worry that's where we're starting to shift to.
Fox 17 News spoke with a security company working with some of the downtown bars that have been threatened. They say they've never seen such a high volume of serious threats towards downtown businesses and employees. Metro Councilman Coupin says that the rally he's organizing is scheduled to take place on August 4th. Now, he says the goal of this rally is to spread the love instead of the hate that we've recently been seeing here in Nashville. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, this is a live look at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee right now. Tonight, Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance is scheduled to speak. Other speakers are showing their support for the ticket right now, and we'll check back in on the convention in Milwaukee here just later in the newscast. In other political news, President Biden testing positive for COVID-19. The White House says he is experiencing mild symptoms from the infection. Tonight, Biden left Las Vegas and flew to his home in Delaware and will self-isolate there while continuing to do his job. Doctors have given him Paxlovid for treatment. All right, it's been pretty hot here these last few days, but the chance of showers certainly welcome.
Yes, and we have quite a few of them right now on radar that have picked up here, and this is all ahead of the front that's pushing through this evening. It's one of those situations where if it's raining at your house, you're like, yeah, Katie, it's raining outside. If it's not raining at your house, you're probably wondering, where is the rain? We haven't seen it. And that's kind of the pattern we're going to see here over the course of the next couple of days. Today being one of the better days for rain chances. Showers around, and some of these are pretty slow moving. I will note none of them severe, but slow moving showers have allowed us to pick up 1, 2, and in some cases almost 3 inches of rain in some spots here. The strongest storm continues to be moving out of Cannon County, more into Warren County here, just to the east, or we should say west of McMinnville, and then just north of downtown Nashville. So here's downtown Nashville over towards Hendersonville, in fact, and over towards Mount Juliet and up towards Gallatin. We are seeing a good amount of rainfall as well. A couple rumbles of thunder, but I mentioned that some spots are picking up anywhere between 1, 2, even 3 inches of rain up in portions of Robertson County, into Montgomery County, and into southern Kentucky. So again, these isolated storms that will be with us as we move into the evening hours could contain heavy rain. The severe weather threat, although low right now, will gradually weaken even more as we head deeper into the night. Front is starting to push through, so these showers and storms are really firing up along and just ahead of the front. As we take a look at tonight, isolated storms will be with us. Heavy rain, the main culprit. A couple gusts of wind can't be ruled out. Others, though, staying dry, and that's going to be the story for us over the next few days. We'll be around 72 in Nashville, Lebanon around 70, and Murfreesboro right around 71. Additional rain chances on the way. How long this cool down that we're expecting will stay with us.
It's extremely frustrating because I expected as
Tonight, in Crisis in the Classroom, a family in Clarksville not happy with how the school district is caring for their son. The family and those who work closely with the boy claim the district made up the student's behavioral data to avoid sending him to an out-of-state specialized school. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen speaking with the family and pressing the district for answers.
This family believes the district has failed to give their son the proper resources to succeed at school. Now, They hope by speaking up, the district will make serious changes so this doesn't happen to any other student.
Jaden Doherty and his family moved to Tennessee hoping to get Jaden the proper education. Jaden is deaf, but he also has mental health and behavior concerns.
It has been very difficult, probably the most difficult out of all the schools he's been to.
While Jaden attended the Tennessee School for the Deaf for several months, he was sent back to his home zone school, Montgomery Central Middle School.
Children with IEPs.
Jaden's mother, Anastasia Rodriguez, says he had no consistent deaf interpreter until the end of the school year, which mom says led to behavioral problems at school. She attempted to send Jaden to a deaf school with a behavioral program in Pennsylvania.
There wasn't a whole lot of deaf resources with children with behavioral. Either you get the behavioral resources, just not the deaf resources.
She reached out to the principal at Montgomery Central to get a letter of recommendation.
She was all in agreement that that school would be perfect for him since they were not equipped. She did send me the letter, which I had emailed to the Pennsylvania school.
The letter from the principal at Montgomery Middle admits in part, it is evident that our school lacks the specialized programs and expertise required to address his behavioral and communication challenges comprehensively. But mom says leaders at Montgomery Central Middle had changed their mind, saying Jaden had been doing better. Keep in mind, the Clarksville-Montgomery School District would also need to pay to send Jaden to the out-of-state school. Jaden's mother said at the same time, someone who worked with Jaden said those positive reports were made up. We spoke with this person anonymously.
And I know that as of the last week of school on Thursday, there were 3 goals with no data, 2 of them being behavior, 1 being a math intervention, and nobody ever did any math intervention with him. By Friday afternoon, there was data in for all 3 of those goals. And some of those behavior data showed that he got like 100% on a day. But I know that that wasn't accurate data, and it was created. It was just put in there.
So why wasn't there clear data? This person who worked with Jaden says educational assistants, not a certified teacher, have been in charge of the classroom since January, which is why accurate data of Jaden's behavior could not be taken.
It's extremely frustrating because I expected as educators to be honest about the child's education, and I felt almost like making up data it's like you're just passing him through and it's not accurate.
I asked the school district about the allegations of falsifying data. At first, a spokesperson tells me the district's HR department did not receive any information related to employees falsifying data. I followed up and asked if Shannon Peacock, the director of special populations, is aware of this. The district told me she was not aware of allegations of an employee falsifying data. A day later, I asked again and was told HR and the special populations departments are initiating an investigation into concerns related to special education services at the school. It's left the family with nowhere else to go, which is why they have moved out of state.
To add to the family's concerns, this source claims Jaden lacks the proper IEP services and was not getting the right mental health and counseling services. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line, the number on your screen, 615-266-4149. And Katie is watching the radar, some active weather patterns moving through our area, hopefully bringing a bit of a relief.
It is. It's bringing quite a bit of relief. In fact, a little bit of a surplus, more than we want to see with a couple of these thunderstorms. In fact, new ones just been issued here. They've gone ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Warren County, and this is going to be until 10 o'clock. Now, the main threat with this storm here is going to be wind and hail. I am also noting a little bit of a mid-level rotation within the storm, but tornadoes really aren't going to be a big concern concern for us for tonight. So that rotation is elevated. It's above the surface and not showing signs of that at the surface. So we'll keep an eye on it. But for now, wind remains the big concern along with some pretty heavy rain. Here are some of the communities impacted within that Warren County severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued now until 10 o'clock. I'll zoom out and you can see that we do continue to find quite a bit of rain moving through portions of Hendersonville to Gallatin and Portland, and we'll continue to see these showers move mainly just east of I-24. So a lot of these showers and storms just setting up shop here right across I-24. So here's the interstate. A little bit to the west there, but looking at, again, a lot of that rain to be west or east, I should say, of I-24. So we'll continue to watch that throughout the evening here. We'll look ahead at what we can expect. The good news is we're not looking at really extreme heat anytime soon. We've had quite a few days of this, and I thought this was interesting. We have had 20 days so far this year at or above 95. That is unusual to see this many. The average between now and April 1st, when we typically start to warm up, is 5. So the average to date is 5 days at or above 95, and we are at 20 right now. So we are tied at the moment for third most 95-degree days through the 17th. So a lot of heat and humidity have been with us for the past several weeks, and unfortunately we haven't had that rain to go along with it. But now it does look like we are cooling down a little bit, and we're going to see more of these pop-up storms that we're looking at over the course of the next several days here. The cool down won't last for long, but it's not going to be as extreme as it has been. So we'll warm up back to about average, around 90 or so as we head into the next few days. Thursday around 77, noticeably cooler for tomorrow, around 84. That's at 2 o'clock, and we should hover in those 80s as we go through the remainder of the afternoon. Overnight, future track continues to show these showers and thunderstorms around through 11, 12, midnight, and then should clear as we head into the overnight hours. A general weakening trend as we head deeper into the night is expected. The thunderstorms that we're seeing now are still feeding off some of that afternoon energy from the sun, but I would expect over the next hour or two that we will start to see that weakening trend continue. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, not finding much on the radar. Notice as we head into the afternoon, a few showers and storms trying to pop up, mainly south and east of Nashville. Not worried about severe weather for tomorrow. These will be just run-of-the-mill pop-up showers and storms that really most of us look to stay dry for the afternoon on Thursday. And early Friday morning, notice that we're starting off with a partly cloudy to mainly clear sky. So radar future track rain actually showing a decent picture of what we could find. A lot of us may see some rain, others may not. And where we do see those showers pop up, we could be looking at 1, maybe 2 inches of rain like we're seeing right now. So it's going to be a lot for some and none for others. We'll talk about how long this pattern could last for us and when the oppressive humidity returns. That's all in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
All right, thank you, Katie. Here's a live look inside the Republican National Convention right now in Milwaukee tonight. It's night 3 of the RNC, and Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance is scheduled to speak. Other speakers showing their support for the ticket right now. In fact, former President Trump's son, Don Jr., at the podium speaking to the crowd as we speak right now. And we're going to tonight at the Republican National Convention, all eyes on the vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar takes a look at what he has to say about the campaign. And by the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story.
Tonight, J.D. Vance making his debut speech as the Republican vice presidential candidate. He wants to relate his life story to the populist, anti-establishment sentiment growing among conservatives. After all, it's what helped convince former President Trump that Vance is the right running mate in his 3rd run for the White House. It was J.D. Vance's 2016 memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, that made him a best-selling author at the same time Trump was in the middle of his first presidential campaign. Vance's story of growing up poor between Kentucky and Ohio resonated with the white populist movement that made Trump a president. Flash forward to tonight, Vance drawing on his story to resonate with the anger Republicans feel now about the economy, immigration, and culture wars.
We're going to get out there and try to fire up the crowd tonight and make the case. A very easy case to make, but an important case to make, that we have got to reelect President Donald J. Trump to the White House.
The theme of the night, Make America Strong Once Again, with a focus on national security and foreign policy. Speakers accusing the current president of being unable to lead and calling for a second Trump term.
Our president needs to make clear and decisive decisions in a moment's notice. When the phone rings in the middle of the night, the president must be ready. Unfortunately, our current president is not ready for that call.
It is time to restore order at the border. It is time to rid our streets of crime and chaos.
The crowd giving a massive welcome to former Trump advisor Peter Navarro, who was just released from prison after serving a 4-month sentence for defying a congressional subpoena from the January 6th committee. This is also the first time many are being introduced to Vance's wife, Usha. They met at Yale Law School and have 3 children, and we'll be watching closely to see what, if any, role she plays in the campaign. In Milwaukee, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
During that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question, who do you trust to keep America safe? The results here on your screen. Almost 950 people weighing in. 86.6% of voters say former President Trump they trust the most to keep him.
Would you give them your money or would you go to a kiosk?
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police say they've arrested this guy more than 300 times. Most recently, the 67-year-old is accused of posing as a parking attendant downtown. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker has more on his history and why he somehow keeps getting out of jail.
Look how thick this stack of papers is in my hand. Add another 100 documents, and that's how many times this man has been arrested. So, of course, this is just a portion of those court documents that date back to 2002.
5 pounds of trouble. Looking into his history, 67-year-old Larry Carroll has been arrested hundreds of times. Many of those charges for criminal trespass and criminal impersonation. His last arrest 2 days ago, where he posed as a parking attendant. Metro Police say he directed cars to park, handed out tickets, and asked people to pay to park.
I probably would if he looked official, yeah, for sure.
So we asked people in that very parking lot what they would do in this situation.
Would you give them your money or would you go to a kiosk?
I'm a tightwad. I don't pay to park anyway, so you're asking the wrong person.
Probably give them the money.
While others not so trusting.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
So you would go to the kiosk instead?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I wouldn't trust nobody.
And while the public was shocked to learn about all Carroll's prior arrests, former police officer with Metro, Ken Alexandro, says he's seen this pattern before.
There's no room in the jails to put them, so what do the judges got to do? They give them time served. And so they're literally out the next day just to rinse and repeat.
Alexandro calls them frequent flyers.
These frequent flyers that are using a ton of police resources day after day after day after day, which is a detriment to the citizens.
And with a short-staffed police department, we asked Alexandro how we end this cycle.
The people you elect in office are the people that have the ability to make Nashville not a gateway city.
We asked the DA's office at what point does this become more than a slap on the wrist. They say they're looking at his history and will get back to us.
Now, the court date for his most recent arrest is scheduled for August. We, of course, will be keeping a close eye on this. We'll let you guys know what comes of it. For now, reporting in downtown Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, we want to know what you think. Are you worried about your safety downtown, given recent demonstrations and protests? 639 people weighing in on this poll tonight. 56% say no, 44% say yes. This poll live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page. Our handle is @Fox Nashville, and we'll show you updated poll results here tonight at 10.
Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Warren County. I will say over the past couple of scans, it has weakened, so that is good to see, but it is still dropping some decent rainfall here right around McMinnville. A couple strikes of lightning as well. This again goes until 10 o'clock, so we'll continue to monitor it, and gusts of wind up to 60 miles per hour and some small hail would be the primary threats there. We zoom out and you can see a lot of these showers and storms are east of I-24, and they really are starting to pile up here. What what we're going to see over the course of the next few days is just that, where some see a lot of rain and others see nothing. And this is really the best graphic I can give you here to visualize that, these isolated sort of summer-like storms. I didn't get any rain at my house when just a few doors down. Yippee, look at all the rain that I'm getting at my house. And I know a lot of us could use those rain showers because we have not seen a lot of it. But I do look at the next at least 5 to 7 days, and there are some good chances for rain moving in. That's great news to hear, especially given the dry weather that we have had over the past several weeks. To talk more about that, here's meteorologist Brett Luna.
Well, our drought situation just keeps getting worse and worse with each new update that comes out. I was driving through Franklin the other day, and some of that grass was just almost brown, so we could really use some good rain, and we could use it quick too. So here's where we were at about a month ago. This map behind me right here came out on June 11th, and we were all doing good. You'll see Kentucky and Tennessee all white. No drought that we were having to worry about this time a month ago. When I slide this blue bar over, though, look how much things changed. We got about a month of below normal rainfall amounts, and things quickly started to not look near as good. This map came out last Thursday, and it shows nearly 70% of Tennessee with abnormally dry to severe drought conditions. Some areas are looking a little bit better than others. That's over there in parts of West Tennessee, not having to deal with much drought. Our northern counties here in Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky, they're all still doing pretty good as well, at least as of right now. Over the past 7 days, there have been a few fortunate spots that got more rain, but most of Middle Tennessee has only seen about a trace to a quarter inch of rain. So the new map that comes out tomorrow is probably going to still look a little bit worse. The next couple of weeks, though, I think we enter more of a little bit of a rainy pattern, so that'll hopefully help things improve at least a little bit later on in this month. This is for the next 7 days, and then this is taking it out to the following week, June 24th through June 30th. We're still looking at a better chance for above normal rainfall.
New tonight, the Department of Homeland Security taking a deep dive investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. They want to know what missteps occurred to give the shooter the opportunity to even take aim at Trump. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins has more on that.
Take a look at what happened.
Getting to the bottom of the security breakdown that almost ended Donald Trump's life, a main topic at this year's RNC.
The American people deserve to know the truth, and we will ensure accountability. I promise you that.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Donald J. Trump.
The former president in attendance. His bandaged ear, a potent reminder of how close the shooter came to ending his life.
There better be real accountability.
We're also learning prior to the Pennsylvania assassination attempt, the Secret Service had already increased protection around Trump due to what appears to be a totally separate but credible assassination plot by Iran. CNN pressing Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle.
How, knowing that there was a credible threat against the former president, how could that perimeter be so small that it excluded a building just 150 yards away from the podium?
I can't get into the specifics of any threats. This is also why we are doing an internal review, and we look forward to the external review as well. And obviously, if there are things that we need to change about our policies or our procedures or our methods, we are certainly going to do so.
New details from the day emerging. The suspect reportedly told his boss he needed Saturday off, but would be back to work on Sunday. Security first spots the shooter at 3 p.m. He then passes through security with a rangefinder, which isn't a weapon but does get security's attention. He then leaves the secure area, and this is when security loses sight of him. Moments before opening fire, civilians spot him on the roof and alert police. The counter snipers then see him, but they can't fire first.
It makes me infuriated. It's hard to believe a big building that size, 130 yards away from a podium, from an elevated position. You don't need to be a security expert to realize that you might want to have somebody up there.
The House Oversight Committee now sending a subpoena to Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle to ensure she shows up on Capitol Hill next Monday for public testimony. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Oh, after taking part in a briefing with the Secret Service and the FBI, Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn posting this on her X page, saying, quote, "I'm appalled to learn the Secret Service knew about a threat prior to President Trump walking on stage," and added, "I have no confidence in the leadership of Director Cheadle and believe it is in the best interest of our nation if she steps down from her position." And In consumer news, the Amazon Prime sales are underway, and while customers are looking for deals, crooks are looking for scam victims. Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris speaking with experts who warn why younger shoppers could be especially susceptible this year.
According to World Metrics, as of 2021, nearly half of Amazon's customers in the U.S. are between 25 and 44 years old. That's about 110 million customers, many of whom will be spending a lot of time on the computer over the next 2 days. $14 billion in sales. According to Reuters, that's how much Amazon Prime Day will generate in sales this year. Shopping days, David Hyde, a professor of computer science, says are prime targets for scammers.
There's really an entire multi-billion-dollar industry out there of people trying to prey on ordinary consumers.
Hyde says one way scammers try and trick consumers is by creating fake websites that almost look identical to the real thing.
And it takes you to a website that looks almost like Amazon, behaves the same way.
To spot one of these websites, Hyde tells us, pay attention to the language being used.
Or maybe the URL for the website will be, Amazon with a 0. It won't actually say Amazon.com.
A tip June Lee, a fellow computer science professor, echoes, adding that sometimes people have their guard down during these heavy spending days.
Days like this, people's vigilance may get lower.
And contrary to popular belief, Hyde tells us research shows younger shoppers are beginning to fall victim.
These people that have grown up just sort of inundated with media, conducting their daily lives online, are probably a little more susceptible.
Over the years, fraud has continued to increase. According to the Federal Trade Commission, consumers reported losing about $10 billion to fraud last year, which is up 14% from 2022. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
And another live look over the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee right now. Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance is speaking. Let's listen in.
Yeah. First of all, aren't I a lucky guy? Isn't she lovely? Isn't it amazing? Greetings, Milwaukee, my fellow Americans and my fellow Republicans. My name is J.D. Vance from the great state of Ohio. Tonight, O-H-I-O, O-H-I-O. You guys, we're gonna chill with the Ohio love. We gotta win Michigan too here, so. My friends, tonight is a night of hope. A celebration of what America once was, and with God's grace, what it will soon be again. And it is a reminder of the sacred duty we have to preserve the American experiment, to choose a new path for our children and grandchildren. But as we meet tonight, we cannot forget that this evening could have been so much different. Instead of a day of celebration, this could have been a day of heartache and mourning. For the last 8 years, President Trump has given everything he has to fight for the people of our country.
Opening remarks underway from J.D. Vance, headlining night 3 of the RNC, of course, former President Trump's vice presidential pick. This speech is streaming in its entirety right now live on our website. If you'd like to tune in, fox17.com, just click Watch Live to continue watching.
Well, let's start off with a look at the radar here. It has been quite active over the past couple of hours. Severe thunderstorm warning for Warren County has been allowed to expire early. As I mentioned earlier, it was weakening, and the National Weather Service agrees, and so they've allowed that thunderstorm warning to go ahead and expire. That's what's left of it right now, moving into Van Buren County towards Spencer. Sparta getting some good rainfall up towards Hartsville. Lebanon, a decent shower pushing through the heart of Wilson County right now. And we continue up I-24 more here. Robertson County, a good soaking rain, as well as portions of Montgomery County, and now Clarksville seeing some rain as well. It extends all the way up into southern Kentucky. I'll zoom out a little more so you can see what's going on here. Most of these showers again east of 24, and as we head through the overnight, the front is starting to push through, so we will be looking at those showers and thunderstorms to push east as we head through the overnight. I would say generally after midnight it should begin to quiet down for all of us. As far as tomorrow morning goes, we'll have a stray shower chance pretty early in the morning hours. Temperatures in those low 70s, stray shower between 7-8 o'clock, and then looking at a partly to mostly cloudy sky as we head into the middle to late part of the morning. But does look like that we should see improving conditions as far as rain chances for Thursday afternoon and even humidity levels, along with temperatures not quite as extreme. Here's a look at our muggy meter. We are looking right at that a bit humid category for Thursday and Friday. It won't last long. We're back into the muggy category for Saturday and Sunday, and then oppressive as we head into next week. Shower chances will be around as well, especially Monday. It's looking like another decent chance at showers area wide. So we take you through tonight. I mentioned the front will be pushing through. We're left with a few showers mainly south and east of Nashville for Thursday morning, but that'll clear as we head into the afternoon. Friday looking to be the best day with dry conditions, but we get into Saturday, we'll look at another system approaching us from the south. This one will offer us some showers for Saturday afternoon and evening, and more so into Sunday as well. So that is something we'll keep our eye on, mainly of the pop-up variety. I don't see really good chance for severe weather. A lot of these we may have a stray strong thunderstorm like we did tonight. Most of these though will be below severe limits, dropping some heavy rainfall. That chance of rain continues all the way through the middle of next week.
Thanks, Katie. Up next, the retail numbers are in. In the economy, the latest numbers show Americans are still keeping a close watch on their spending. Retail sales were mostly flat for the month of June, only inching upwards by 0.4%. That's excluding auto sales. Similarly, retail sales for May showed a 0.3% increase. Overall, retail sales are up 2% in the first half of 2024 compared to this time last year. Well, in your business news tonight, music label suing a leading phone service provider for encouraging copyright infringement. UMG Recording, Warner Music, and Sony Music allege that Verizon ignored copyright violations for profit. The record labels are suing for nearly $3 billion, saying they are entitled to up to $150,000 per violation under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. The labels claim to have sent 350,000 infringement notices to Verizon since 2020. Still to come tonight, one of the world's biggest booze maker ditching wine brands. What is sparking the change? Next. A decline in worldwide alcohol consumption is about to cause a big shift in industry ownership. One of the world's largest booze makers ditching most of its wine brands. Pernod Ricard says it's because of a drop in sales worldwide. The French company instead focusing on growing its champagne and spirit labels. Last year, wine consumption hit a 27-year low. Research shows consumers have either been opting for beer and spirits or choosing to forego alcohol altogether for health reasons.
And coming up here, why 2 Metro Council members objected to a resolution condemning the assassination attempt on the former president that aims to honor victims and end political violence.
We speak with Metro leaders regarding safety concerns of recent demonstrations with a hate group. This story coming up next.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
This was not calling for an end to political violence. This was somehow to make Trump somehow special.
Tonight, a resolution to condemn the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, honor the victims, and condemn political violence. It was actually voted down by 2 Metro Council women last night. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live outside the Metro Courthouse, picking up the story from here. Karen.
Councilwoman Courtney Johnston drafted this resolution, and she tells me that it was important for it to be heard. But tonight, she tells me she's disgusted it wasn't. Councilwoman Terry Vo and Council objected to the suspension of the rules for this resolution, which means it couldn't be heard if no one had objected it. The resolution was turned in late, but Johnson tells me it was intended to unify. Welsh tells me she felt it was disingenuous. She also tells me she believed Trump brought the assassination attempt on himself with his messaging, so she objected.
It touched Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump has been calling for this and that people heeded his call. I'm not sure what you expect when you are continually calling for political violence, why you think that you should be immune to your calls for violence.
Councilwoman Terry Vo tells me her objection had nothing to do with Trump, but more so a technicality, claiming the resolution didn't have enough wording to indicate we should condemn political violence. For the next Metro Council meeting, Vo tells me that she would consider the resolution, and Welsh tells me she will not. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, Courtney Johnson is a member of the Metro Council. She's also running against Congressman Andy Ogles in the GOP primary.
Clear out your communists so I can talk.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a self-proclaimed hate group continuing to incite chaos in downtown Nashville. Safety concerns continued tonight after a bar employee was allegedly assaulted by a man that Metro Police say was marching through Nashville with a neo-Nazi group. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live outside the Metro Courthouse after pressing city leaders on these growing concerns and the hate that it brings to the city. Caitlin.
Yes, Megan. Well, we spoke with Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin today, who represents the downtown area where a lot of these demonstrations have been occurring. And he says that this type of activity does not represent our city. Now, we reached out to Metro Police, and they say that these neo-Nazi protesters were demonstrating on 3rd Avenue last weekend when 29-year-old Ryan Scott McCann of Ontario, Canada, hit a Johnny Cash bar employee, Diego Buck, in the face and the ribs with a Nazi flag. McCann is charged with aggravated assault and disorderly conduct, and Buck was arrested on misdemeanor charges for disorderly conduct and resisting police. Now, the DA's office confirmed Wednesday that McCann's bond went from $80,000 to $51,000. Metro leaders like Jacob Coupin say that these groups tarnish Music City's welcoming community and image.
A No Hate in Nashville march and rally, again, to send the message that's not who we are, this is who we are.
Fox 17 News spoke with a security company working with some of the downtown bars that have been threatened, and they say that they've never seen such a high volume of threats made and serious threats made to all these downtown businesses and employees. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, we of course want to know what you think. Earlier tonight, we told you about this X poll. It's live right now, asking the question, are you worried about safety downtown in light of these recent demonstrations and protests? 646 people weighing in. 56% of respondents say no, 44% say yes. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in. In Operation Crime and Justice, the man on your screen here, right behind me, he's been arrested over 300 times. Most recently, police say that he acted as a parking attendant and gave out fake parking tickets downtown. Court documents say that 67-year-old Larry Carroll, who was arrested again on Monday, was directing drivers where to park and attempted to get people to pay him for the parking spot. This comes after a long history of charges related to criminal trespass and criminal impersonation dating back to 2002. Former Metro Police Officer Ken Alexandro says he has seen this pattern before, and it's frustrating that this wears police resources thin.
Unfortunately, they're scamming the public, but when they get arrested for this misdemeanor, they don't have any money to pay a fine. So there's no room in the jails to put them. So what do the judges got to do? They give them time served. And so they're literally out the next day. just to rinse and repeat because they have nothing else to do.
Carol's next court date is in August, and Fox 17 News will be there and will continue to watch this case closely.
Continuing to watch the radar closely this evening as we have showers and storms firing up now, mainly along and east of I-24 this evening. A couple areas have picked up 2, even 3 inches of rain over the past few hours, and they continue to blossom across portions of Middle Tennessee. There was a brief severe thunderstorm warning in Warren County, but that has been allowed to expire. A lot of these will stay below severe limits, but they will be capable of producing some pretty heavy rain. As you can see here, Woodbury picking up almost 3 inches of rainfall. Radar estimating about 2 inches in the Hendersonville area. Northern Nashville looking at or North Nashville, I should say, looking at about 2.5 inches of rain, almost 3 inches here up in portions of Montgomery County along the Todd County border. So again, some seeing a lot of rain, others seeing little to no rain, and that'll be our story as we head through the overnight. Here's the front, and you can see showers lining up right around it. As the front pushes through this evening, we will continue to find some of these showers and storms around, rumbles of thunder possible. Again, general weakening trend with these storms as far as the severe threat goes. So severe threat very low for tonight. Most of these producing heavy rainfall. Again, others will stay dry, some others seeing some big rain. We all need the rain, and we'll talk more about some other chances that'll be on the way in a few days. That in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Well, coming up as we head to break, another live look over the Republican National Convention. Night 3 being held tonight in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All eyes on the newly named VP pick, J.D. Vance. We'll head back out to the convention floor next. And plans to bring a new emergency room facility to the White House community. Details coming up.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are part.
All right, another live look from the Republican National Convention tonight in Milwaukee. And as you see there, Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance speaking still. Let's listen in.
For workers. Really was amazing. There's this chart that shows worker wages, and they stagnated for pretty much my entire life until President Donald J. Trump came along. Workers' wages went through the roof. And just imagine what he's going to do when we give him 4 more years. Months ago, I heard some young family member observe that their parents' generation, the baby boomers, could afford to buy a home when they first entered the workforce. But I don't know, this person observed, if I'll ever be able to afford a home. The absurd cost of housing is the result of so many failures, and it reveals so much about what's broken in Washington. I can tell you exactly how it happened. Wall Street barons crashed the economy, and American builders went out of business. As tradesmen scrambled for jobs, houses stopped being built. The lack of good jobs, of course, led to stagnant wages. And then the Democrats flooded this country with millions of illegal aliens. So citizens had to compete with people who shouldn't even be here for precious housing. Joe Biden's inflation crisis, my friends, is really an affordability crisis. And many of the people that I grew up with can't afford to pay more for groceries, more for gas, more for rent, and that's exactly what Joe Biden's economy has given them.
We are streaming J.D. Vance's speech right now. If you'd like to continue watching it, just head to our website, fox17.com, and click Watch Live. New tonight, TriStar Hendersonville making plans to bring a freestanding emergency room to the White House community. White House located right here. It's about 30 minutes north of Hendersonville. The community has more than doubled in size since the year 2000, making emergency services a critical need in the area. TriStar Hendersonville says the new ER plans include a trauma room, 11 exam rooms, and imaging services. TriStar Hendersonville plans to apply for a certificate of need with the Tennessee Health Facilities Commission.
A major theme of the 2024 presidential campaign, the border and crime. I'm Christine Frizzell with why Republicans say Biden is to blame.
And rising minimum wage nationwide crippling some business owners. In politics tonight, the crisis at the southern border and crime remain the top concern for voters, and it's one reason why an entire night of the Republican National Convention was dedicated to the issue. Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell with a closer look.
Since he first came down the now infamous escalator to announce his candidacy for president, Donald Trump's depiction of America has been of a crime-ridden country overtaken by migrants.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Over the last 9 years, it's a message that's been embraced by the Republican Party. Tuesday night's theme at the RNC, Make America Safe, once again.
The Democrats have handed over control of my state, Arizona's border, to the drug cartels.
The number of migrants coming and allowed to remain in the country has broken records, though it has seen a major decrease in recent months. And while it's not a trend, some are now suspected in brutal murder cases, including of 12-year-old Jocelyn Ongary and a Maryland mother of 5, Rachel Morin.
There is nothing compassionate about allowing violent criminals into our country and robbing children of their mother.
This mother spoke about her 15-year-old son's death from fentanyl.
We need a president who will seal the border, aggressively prosecute drug dealers, and stop communist China from poisoning our children.
While statistics show the vast majority of fentanyl is smuggled through ports of entry by U.S. citizens, Republicans have nevertheless made this part of their messaging campaign, and that Biden is to blame.
Our streets are plagued by drugs. You'll find human feces in front of your business or someone lying dead on your front steps.
But the latest FBI data show violent crime falling since its height in 2020, with homicides plummeting in major U.S. cities.
The Republicans in Milwaukee right now are truly living and or at least promoting an alternate reality that doesn't land with the facts.
Still, experts say voters' perceptions will be all that matters when they go to the polls in November. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Turning to the economy tonight, minimum wage is going up around the country, but as Fox 17 News' Angela Brown explains, some businesses are struggling to keep up.
In-N-Out Burger raising prices for some items at their California locations after the state minimum wage for fast food workers went up to $20 an hour. California restaurant owners taking their struggle to the national media.
The number one question that employees have been asking, whether they be in my restaurants or around the cities that I operate in, is what is going to happen to my job? Will my hours be cut?
The minimum wage is going up around the country, not as high as $20, but up. Starting July 1st, D.C. raised the minimum wage to $17.50 per hour. Nevada, $12. Oregon, it depends on where you work. Portland Metro, $15.95. Non-urban communities, $13.70. And that state, the increase is tied to inflation.
Oregonians, I think, to sort of tread water economically in the sense that at least they're keeping up with inflation.
This new report from Oxfam found that roughly 1 in 4 workers in the U.S. are defined as low-wage workers, earning less than $17 an hour. Laura Van Inkelvoort from the Oregon Bureau of Labor and Industry is tracking research about how much folks in Oregon may need to make.
In Oregon, you need to make over $24 an hour to actually survive. And that was in 2022. So that's just over $8 more per hour of our highest minimum wage currently.
The federal minimum wage has been stuck at $3.25 since 2009. That's $290 a week, or roughly $15,000 a year. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Still looking at rain across the area this evening here. Our radar showing where most of those showers are at the moment, pushing across mainly those along and east of 24. But a few more showers starting to blossom here throughout portions of Montgomery County into Clarksville and Springfield, seeing a good soaking rain. That also stretching east toward Gallatin and pushing more into Lincoln, I should say Macon, Trousdale, and Smith counties. These will remain sub-severe, but we will continue to at least see the potential for some heavy rainfall and rumbles of thunder as we go through the next couple of hours. The good news is the excessive heat is done with for a while. We're going to be cooling down a little bit. What I thought was interesting, though, is the number of days at 95 or higher that we have seen this year to date. 20 days at 95 or higher. That is not normal. Average to date is 5. We're tied now for the third most 95 plus days, 95 degree plus days for the year up to the 17th of July. And of course, we have a lot more summer to go. The good news is, though, as I mentioned, we are cooling down a little bit, returning to more average-like conditions, which is right around 90 for this time of year. So storms will be around for tonight, a pop-up pattern around for the next couple of days. And I mentioned a little bit of a cool down. Tomorrow, we're only in the mid-80s for the afternoon. Unfortunately, it won't last long, but again, not seeing the overall extreme weather like we've had the past couple of days with highs around 100. Temperatures will be around 77 at 10. We're up to about 84 as we head into the afternoon and staying in those 80s, mid-80s for the day. Here's future tracks as we go through midnight. A lot of these showers continue to work their way out of Middle Tennessee. For those, again, along and east of I-24, you're really lucky this evening, picking up some much needed rainfall. For those west, still waiting for a lot of those showers to come. And I do think we'll have a couple more chances as we move forward here after Friday. So Thursday and Friday, a downward trend in rain chances, but we'll start to pick that up again going into the weekend. A couple pop-ups for Thursday, mainly south and east. And then notice as we head through early Friday, we are dry and should stay dry for the day on Friday. As far as what we can expect going into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, right around 90 degrees. A couple isolated showers and thunderstorms around. That'll continue through Sunday. These are going to be pop-up variety where they will just pop up. They'll drop some heavy rain and then move on. Best chance for rain over the next 7 days beyond tonight looks to be Monday next week.
Thanks. New tonight, President Biden is reportedly making plans to propose changes to the Supreme Court. And as Fox 17 News' Mac Dalka reports, those plans could include a proposal for term limits in the High Court.
There's going to probably be 2 more appointments to the court. There's probably 2 people going to retire. Just imagine if he has 2 more appointments on that, what that means forever.
President Biden talking about the Supreme Court in an interview he did with BET News. He's now reportedly gearing up a proposal that would establish term limits for the court and an enforceable ethics code, and also pitching a constitutional amendment eliminating broad immunity for constitutional office holders. The 6-3 conservative majority High Court has been a long-standing issue with Democrats, most recently with controversies surrounding Justice Samuel Alito and his wife flying an upside-down U.S. flag that January 6th rioters also flew, and lavish gifts given to Justice Clarence Thomas from a Republican megadonor.
I won't get ahead of what the president's going to announce in the coming days, but in the Senate on the Judiciary Committee, there is widespread concern among Democrats about the ethics and the transparency and the recusal practices of the justices.
Former President Donald Trump made 3 appointments to the court. Some Republicans say Biden's proposals are a political stunt to sway frustrated Democratic voters.
I think our Supreme Court is constituted well. It's been like this for more than 100 years. President Biden doesn't like some of the decisions that this court has issued. But I would point out that this court is not a partisan court. They've had many 9-0 decisions this year.
The plans come as there's growing pressure among Democrats to push Biden out of the race and replace him with a more viable candidate. The president spoke to progressives in his party about his proposals over the weekend. In the 2 weeks since the Supreme Court ruled in favor of presidential immunity, a Fox News poll shows a majority of voters disapprove of that decision and 60% of voters disapprove of the court overall, an all-time high. Biden's plans are long shots and would have a tough time getting through a deeply divided Congress, where the president would need support from both sides. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
It is called the Epley maneuver. It's what you're seeing right here, but it could make a huge difference in a very short time.
In your health news tonight, if you suffer from vertigo or you get dizzy when you stand up too quickly, there is a simple maneuver that could help. Fox 17 News medical reporter Liz Bonus explains how it works.
Hey there, hello to you. The Epley maneuver, also known as the canalith repositioning procedure, or CRP, is a treatment for vertigo. It is what you are seeing here. It can often immediately fix that feeling that things around you are moving and spinning.
So typically the presentation is, as we get older, otoliths inside of your inner ear can fall off a sticky plate and wind up in a canal where they're not supposed to be. And the symptoms would be you roll over in bed and have a spinning sensation, or you get up from bed and you're spinning violently and you have no idea why it happened.
Physical therapist Rob Neltner told me once you get a proper diagnosis, the Epley maneuver is a quick fix.
So the Epley is basically taking your head over the edge of the table, extended and rotated. Your symptoms will happen. That's the tough problem, is that people want to get out of that position quickly because they're uncomfortable there. You hold them there, you ride out the storm, you turn them to the opposite side, you turn them on their side, and you set them up. It takes less than 3 or 4 minutes to fix, but they're fixed instantly.
He says you evaluate what's happening with the eyes as the procedure is performed. A shakiness sort of goes away. But he says it does tend to come back for many people who experience it, and you have to perform the Epley maneuver again.
Each time you have vertigo, if you fix it, it's fixed. But say 6 years from now, if you have it again, it's usually going to pick on the same ear. It's usually going to be the same problem, so you can teach them how to fix it when it happens again.
Now, Rob says there's also follow-up exercises you can do at home, and a way that physical therapists can teach you to even do this on your own if you need help. Just ask your primary care doctor for a referral. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, and heading into tonight and tomorrow, some active thunderstorms.
We've got some showers on the radar. A lot of these are pushing east now, but we'll continue to pick up some decent rainfall out of these. Severe weather threat very low and will continue to weaken over the next few hours. I think we're mainly looking at rumbles of thunder and heavy rain out of these showers. That should clear as we get towards tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you have a great night. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow.
Deficient online security protection.
Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9. Be prepared for the next storm. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red Weather app.
You may come from a plug family, and I come from a no plug family, but one day our great families will come together in marriage.